What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Banlist season, where player brain meets Banlist speculation brain into hard-earned money spent on the market on buyouts like this. The rogue deck that could almost do it if there's a murder list. This will rise from the ashes and seize the day. I don't think Voiceless Voice is all that bad, but it really did struggle to get its results that it does have versus everything else. And once upon a time, yeah, this was a very expensive card, $65 and trying to hold, and earlier this month down towards more 15 than 13, and we'll show that, but now it's bouncing back up to where there's only 2 copies, not even a full playset at 25, and then it skyrockets towards 34. I wouldn't be going for this one for multiple reasons. First off, you're speculating with Banlist whenever you are going that direction, and I also feel like there would be better options even if there was a complete overhaul list. And then Phantom Nightmare's up for reprints when we actually go and look at this set. Yeah, Voiceless Voice helped make this an expensive box as people ripped this open and went for things, but Promethean Princess is already getting a reprint in Bonanza. Now, I don't think they would necessarily go archetypal with that and go Voiceless Voice also over there, but it's something they could do and could even lean more into early on in, say, the March reprint sets before the WCQ. But you do want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! In the meantime. There is a ban list that we know is coming, but I just don't think that this one is necessarily it, right? Like, I don't think that you should be suddenly jumping on the train, oh, everyone's doing it, I should do it too. And we can scroll back a couple of weeks, right, and see the actual sales, all these $15 sales, and suddenly people are spending way more. Even on the quarter century secret rare, nothing but down for so long, and suddenly this just upped sales rate. Tons of people throwing $70 at this card the last couple of days, and that's really up versus where it had been in terms of the sales rate. So let me know what you think. Am I just wrong? Am I just too tone deaf to what the ban list is going to bring? Again, it's heavy speculation on whatever Konami's going to do, and then what will rise from the ashes. You can even test, hits on different decks, and I feel like this doesn't really rise to the top, but hey, maybe I'm just wrong. Sprite is another one that people are going for. I think Sprite is pretty good, except you might want to take a look at the sets that are in the Megatons right around the corner. Power of the Elements, yet we still see Sprite Elf going down on listings, up in price for its only access version, as people really target the quarter century secret rares. We covered Sprint on the other Market Watch. Gigantic Sprite also going here, and slowly lowered quantities of Sprite Starter, which could see another reprint in the 10s. And then you do have Sprite Blue is plenty available right now, and it does have that ultimate rare, highest rarity Sprite. I don't think people are going to go back and necessarily play that format out. It's not too many people's favorite, but for an actual viability after a ban list, I guess I could see it. Runic decks might need a leg to stand on, but would it be this over Whitewoods with how it's actively playing? Don't know. People are also going for Whitewoods with the list, and I see that as quite a bit more viable overall, depending on list and how hard Runic might get hit. Retro Pack has come out, and people feel 2 types of way. Overall, it got a warm reception, but either you hate it or you love it, it feels like. So many people are like, oh, it's useless. They could have reprinted so many great cards. I'm gonna boycott this, versus other people saying, wow, this nostalgic feeling, so many holos. And to that point, I've seen more holos pulled than rares, and every single opening I have watched, and it's a lot of supers. Now, the secret rares, not so much. I've seen a ton of people show their $200 pulls, and only 2 to 3 secret rares pulled in that amount. So the secrets are still very hard to get. The ultras also, I feel like, are harder to get than people are giving credit, and there's a lot of super rares floating around within those pulls, but it's still an okay amount of ultras. That being said, the cards look like the older cards. I think they did a great job with this. I bought 12. I may even buy some more to rip open on stream. Like, I wasn't going to initially, but the more I stare at openings and how much fun people are having with it, the more I like it. I do think it will impact the original set. I think it will take away demand for the original cards just because they have a different copyright date. That's not a first edition identifier. That's something you have to sit down and point to and explain to people instead of, oh, there's that iconic first ed stamp. I know what that means. And it's a reprint of a reprint set giving reprintception. If you'd like to get this yourself, Walmart, you can see if you can buy it in store. They sold out online yesterday. Best Buy surprisingly has some. You can get it for pickup. It might take longer, but they do make you pay for shipping over here. Currently in stock, limit 5 per person. It was limit, I believe, 12 online for this. And then over here at Target, it's limit 3 per person. Still in stock as of recording this video. If you don't want to be going and fighting for stuff on shelves, at least there are options for quantity. GameStop still has it a little more expensive at $20 as well, and hasn't sold out as of making this video. Crossover Breakers announced something interesting. So people, if you're wondering about going for the sealed, I personally wouldn't unless you truly believe in Malice, not Malice. They did change that name though, cool upside down A, and I guess Malice, that sounds kind of, we don't want the devil scare with our card game from the 90s. But when it comes down to it, the interesting change is that you can have half of the rares also super, still 1 holo per pack. This is being celebrated by a lot of people. I always think of math automatically. So you had 15 super rares in the previous deck building set. This doubles the amount of supers, making your in-archetype pulls even harder. And while it's cool that other cards are going to get a rarity upgrade that is optional, making all those pulls harder versus what this used to be for deck building sets, all foil side sets where everything was guaranteed, it just drowns out ratios even worse, which is why these are failing in the first place. You want to believe in archetypes, this had Labyrinth as well as Runic, and even before its reprints, it was selling for $45 because of how terrible the ratios are. And you can see it dipped all the way to 30, then people were like, wait, I could chase for collector rares, and it's only come back down over time once again. $34 available despite such star-studded archetypes that are genuinely loved, have waifu tax, have meta relevance today. So yeah, I would just say that even if you do truly believe in Malice, do give consideration to how these have done and the fact that ratios are now getting even worse, which is why all of these have been underperforming versus the old all foil side sets that would always sell out. Konami, please look at the last 4 years of these sets and how they have sold. I beg you. Psychic Processor, probably for Malice, is going up for its quarter century secret rare. This card reads, you can banish this card you control, special summon up to 2 machine psychics and or Cyverse monsters from your hand, and they can attack directly this turn. During the standby phase of the next turn after this card was banished, you can add this banished card to your hand, so you can repeat being able to flood the field a little easier. It also could become a choke point for you though, and is a psychic instead of a Cyverse, depending on how you want to either lock or not lock yourself in while playing Malice. We do see that allures have really been able to stabilize up. I know, time traveling info broker, I showed off that I got my first editions for crazy prices. I think I paid what, $115 or $120 a piece, and those have really gone up. It's a card I've been hunting for a long time, and I happened to buy them for my collection personally at the right time. Unlimited lowest is 200. I sold my Unlim in the Discord, by the way, for 60 if you're not paying attention to the deals room. So one lucky duelist did get that from me, because Unlim near mint doesn't really exist to all that much, I believe, through here. Here's all the light plays, heavy play, light plays, mod plays. There's just not a lot of near mints peppered in among the ultimate rares, and I think they're near bought out at this point completely, besides those nosebleed prices. But Allure, I do think, is the correct card to pair with the deck and actually hype up versus anything else, because it is draws and free bodies on board / effects. I was looking at Duel Saga, which I haven't in a long time, Interestingly, for this old set, where last I looked, I think displays were like $650, we are seeing people chop up much cheaper some of those, and the cards are going up. First off, Blue Eyes I know has new support coming, right? So people are looking for unique, different pieces of Blue Eyes. Here's one under 30 before they're all above 30, which is up from where it was previous. You can scroll down and see tons of sales cheaper than that in the 15s to 18s over time. But also people came in while looking at Blue Eyes and bought some other nostalgia pulls, like Magician of Faith here. I don't know why my screen is like locked halfway, so we'll refresh. Live editing done cheap, but seriously, look at this graph. It's just constantly up, and I know some graphs are actually inaccurate right now, but from the sales, this seems pretty accurate, and it continues to go up right now. So it does look like people are, while hunting Blue Eyes, looking at other things. So much for the collector market being dead thanks to Rarity Collection and sets like Bonanza, right? Also, I was looking at this just because I was looking at old reprint sets. Bond Between Teacher and Student still doesn't have a reprint. Now, this graph is pretty inaccurate if we do look at the sales data. There are not pretty much any sales under that $10 mark for the most part. Sometimes they barely graze under, but a majority, even all the way back to April, were 10 plus for the most part. We see some of them back there though. So this is the 1 month graph. I don't understand the broken graph, but do know that if you have this card, you might have some extra money you didn't know about. And this is actually the kind of stuff I would like to see peppered into Bonanza's quarter century secret rares. You get both Dark Magicians, you get a support card, you get something that was in the anime, and I think it's kind of neat. But if you have it right now, it's a pretty penny for a card that might just be sitting in your bulk. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these conversations. And let me know what you think of RetroPack. Is it just a total miss for you? You're not about it? I'm watching so many people have fun opening it. They're cards I personally care about, but I'm a Yugi boomer at the end of a day with a bit more of an open mindset on Modern. I don't think pendulums killed the game.